What's your name and what do you do?
My name's Kevin O'Shaughnessy, and I am a social studies teacher at Wells High School. 22 years, started the AP Psych program.
Nice. What did you originally go to school for?
Originally, I went to school for communications, which was because it was easy and I was playing football, and there were a lot of pretty girls in communications because they all wanted to be in television. And then I liked history, so I took history courses, and I took a course with the guy who turned out to be the head of the department. And he basically said, for a football player, you actually wrote the best midterm out of anybody in this class. And then he sat me down in his office for about 3 hours and showed me that I could actually get a second degree in history, because he said my communications degree was kind of a joke, which was true. And so he spent that time with me and helped me out. And then I went like an extra semester and got my second degree in history. And then a year later, I went to law school and got a law degree. That took 3 years. And in between that, I traveled in Europe. And then I didn't go back to school until I was married and had 2 kids, and I was 39 years old. And that's when I wanted to be a teacher, or thought I did.
Nice. How long did you play football for?
I played 4 years of high school and 3 years of college. And then I coached for 2 years. Assistant.
What has been the biggest challenge for you at WHS?
I mean, there's been a lot of them. I would say now, I think one of the biggest, well, there's 2 things. The pandemic was a real challenge because we had to adapt and change everything for online. And there was, prior to this, there was a lot of people in education who were saying, like, this is the way that it's going to be. You're going to have one teacher and all these kids online, and it's going to be amazing, and you won't need to have that many teachers and everything. And the pandemic proved that that was all crap. That there are certain kids who can learn remotely and do fine, but in my experience, it's like less than 5%. And now, because we didn't want to penalize the kids, because it was online learning, it was all new, kids lost essentially, some kids lost between 2 years or at least a year of schooling, emotional, social development, and then just the whole loss of rigor and standards. And this job is so much harder now. You have parents, you get emailed all the time. The expectations are really, really high. You have a lot of parents, I wouldn't say a lot. I would say there's a significant group of parents who don't trust public schools anymore. That are this whole critical race theory thing. They think that we're indoctrinating their kids. And then you just have parents who don't, you have kids whose parents don't, work with a teacher to make sure that they're doing their work. I would say I've been lucky that in Wells, 95% of the parents have been really, really supportive. But you also have, you have parents who their kids talk to them a way that wouldn't be acceptable in my home. Like, if you were my kid and you talked to your teacher that way, there would be repercussions. That isn't happening as much, and I see that eroding. Whereas when I first started here, and even 10 years ago, that wasn't the case. So, education it's teachers, it's peers, it's parents, all working together. And people who were opposed to the mask mandates, all that stuff was just, last year kids trashed the school like they never trashed the school before. And that was terrible. And, you had parents who would defend their kid when we'd be like, we caught them doing this.
Stole bathroom stall, you know?
Whatever, and there wasn't, you know, so it was like there used to be more support, and now there's less.
I'm just gonna do a little fun question for you.
Okay.
If you could fight any teacher here without getting arrested, who would it be?
Boy, probably Mr. Roach.
Why?
Because he's so annoying about the weather.
Do you think you would beat him if you
Absolutely.
If you fought back?
I've been training for years.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Just for Mr. Roach?
I would beat him to death with my metal ankle.
Oh.
Couldn't have no response.
I think this is the last question.
In your career, how many fights have you split up?
Well, let's see. I taught 22 years. I mean, I would say somewhere between 10 and 20.
Do you have a favorite one?
Yeah, the one with Alicia Bridges and Olivia Ramini, because that one made it to everybody's phones.
Yeah.
I was upset that Alicia got suspended. She didn't start the fight, and she had the AP exam the next day, and I was not happy about that. I thought that was... She did get to sit for the exam, but I just felt like she shouldn't have even been suspended. She just defended herself too well.
Oh, too well.
Yes.
All right.
Well, thank you for your time.
No problem.
Appreciate it.